How are you guys? I'm doing good. It's been a while since I've been on here. But 2022 K-pop has been a wild ride, so let's have a chat about it. Feel free to keep the conversation going in the comments, of course. First, I want to touch on the music. I've actually no idea what is the general opinion on this year's music, but personally I've enjoyed this year a lot. This year has been really strong for B-sides, which I love. A great B-side just feels kinda different than a great title track. Can't say right now what's my favorite B-side of the year, but of the top of my head, Escape Room by Fromies, Run BTS by BTS, Illusion by aespa and The Great Mermaid by Les Seraphim come to mind. Yena's Pretty Boys and Luck to You from her first album are also gems I won't easily forget. When it comes to title tracks, I have to start by mentioning New Jeans. I mean, these girls debuted with 4 title tracks which basically everyone fell in love with. There is so much to unpack when it comes to these new 4th-gen girl groups, but I'll get into that very soon. Also, I've released the Song of the Year Love Dive. I have to admit that I might have overplayed it, which I didn't know was possible. Still, Love Dive will always have a special place in my heart. It's such a beautiful ethereal song that deserved all the achievements it got. Now let's talk about Born Pink. Blackpink are my ults and I do really like them, but I was disappointed with the album. Waiting so many months just to like the pre-release and title track, although I have to say that Type a Girl has been on my playlist for about a week now and it might grow on, but I like only some parts and the chorus still annoys me a bit, so I won't be getting my hopes up. All the sides felt really bland and unfinished. I mean, where are the iconic Blackpink bridges? The songs ended just so quickly. The same kinda happened with Shutdown. Again, no bridge. But my favorite song definitely was Pink Venom. I enjoyed it throughout from the first listen and it's still on my playlist. Actually, it's now a few days later and I'm in love with Rosé's Hard to Love. I'm still salty about the lack of bridges though. Not to make this all about Blackpink, but I think they are in a weird place with their soon ending contracts. And of course they're getting a lot of criticism for their recent tour, so it's hard to predict what their future will look like. Now let's talk about the rise of 4th-gen girl groups. I'm sure that for many K-pop fans the new girl groups were the standouts of the year. This was honestly not hard to predict. Last year, with these big companies announcing new girl groups and IVE's and Kepler's debut right around the corner, I remember thinking that the competition for girl groups will be big. Well, there were many records broken, mostly by IVE, whose first-year success reminded me of aespa. And then New Jeans, who made probably the most successful debut in K-pop history and were a breath of fresh air for the industry with their concept and sound. Now my personal favorite out of all the new groups and even out of any group are Les Seraphim. I consider their debut mini-album basically perfect. I love each song and the concept. The members all stand out to me and are some of my favorite performers. Of course, I'll have to also mention Mix and Kepler, who had many remarkable achievements this year. So what about the other groups? Well, other 4th-gen groups have been going strong, although compared to girl groups, rookie boy groups haven't made much noise this year. I mean, ENHYPEN were the last boy group debut I heard about, and alongside with them groups like Stray Kids, itzy, and TXT carried 2022 for 4th-gen boy groups. Now I have to mention G-Idol because they made a huge comeback after everything that went down. I have to admit that I wasn't so sure they would be able to make a successful comeback after over a year break. But they really proved me wrong with Tomboy. And then they released Nude, which was one of my favorite comebacks of the year. Idol grew so much and I'm so curious to see what they will put out next. itzy had an interesting year to say the least. They put out so much stuff from Japanese to English debuts. Ever since Not Shy, I feel like people have had some kind of problem with itzy, whether it be their concept skills or music. This year the opinion that itzy fell off has been pretty popular because of the decreasing music quality and lower charting and whatnot. Of course, music is subjective and it's okay if you don't vibe with the group anymore. Personally, I've never liked itzy's music. I mostly follow them for their performances and dance covers. But for people who are stating itzy fell off as a fact, I think you need to remember that the growth of an artist isn't always linear. K-pop groups put out so much music and not everything is going to live up to your expectations. itzy have been the biggest 4th-gen girl group for quite a while and Now that there are newer huge groups, it might seem that itzy isn't keeping up, but trust me, they do have a big fandom to fall back on and many years of this career ahead of them. So the point is using itzy as an example that maybe fans shouldn't be so quick to jump into conclusions based on so little. Moving on. I was so happy to see big third-gen groups like Red Velvet and Blackpink being active again and releasing music. We had some disbandments and members leaving their groups and companies left and right. But also groups like Twice and 17 renewed their contracts and stayed all together. I don't keep up with second gen, but I'm still aware of the many reunions this year like SNSD and Kara. It's cool to see that they are still going strong after so many years. Lastly, I want to briefly touch on my expectations for 2023 K-pop. First of all, I'm so hyped for the new YG group. Even though there is a lot happening with YG right now, the other big three companies and HYBE have already debuted new girl groups, so I just can't wait to see the direction the new YG group will take. Also next year, we'll see what will happen with Blackpink. Right now it's alleged that they will move to the Black label. I'm expecting New Jeans to be the trendsetters of 2023 just based on what they started this year. The Y2K concept will probably be popular but hopefully not overused. I believe boy groups will start to experiment with new concepts and sounds to stand out. The groups I'm personally most excited to hear in 2023 are TXT, Le Sserafim, and Stacey. TXT are coming back soon and I hope they will bring back the magic concept from 2019 and 2020, to be honest. Anyway, happy new year guys. Hope you all have a good year and see you soon.